In a cosmos stitched with silence and starfire, something moved that did not belong. Not a comet. Not an asteroid. Not a rock flung by chance. But something else. Something far stranger. Something the universe didn't warn us about. It came from the dark between stars. It didn't orbit. It passed through. Fast, quiet, alone. And now, in this new era of deeper instruments and machine minds, we're beginning to ask questions no one dared in 2017. What if it wasn't just a rock? What if it was a whisper? Or worse, a warning? October 2017. A telescope in Hawaii captured a flicker, a shape the sky had never shown us before. It was long. Thin. Tumbling. Like a shard, or a blade. They named it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word meaning a messenger from afar, arriving first. It wasn't bound to our sun. It came from another star. And as quickly as it arrived, it was gone. Most cosmic things drift or fall. They obey gravity like a child obeys sleep. But not this one. This one accelerated. Not randomly. Not chaotically. With precision. It moved as if it had purpose. As if it was correcting itself. No gas. No vents. No particles trailing behind. Nothing visible pushed it. And yet, it changed direction. New simulations in 2025, using quantum-enhanced tracking, told us something the old data had hidden. The spin wasn't noise. It was rhythm. It rotated every 7.3 hours. With minor shifts, every 43.8 minutes. As if it was scanning. As if the object was aware of light. As if it was adjusting for something we couldn't see. Like a craft steering by sunlight. Like a sail, catching radiation instead of wind. If that's true, then someone made it. Not us. Not in this century. Maybe not in this galaxy. It came from a place no object should have been launched. Not a binary star. Not a nova. Not a violent ejection point. Instead, a quiet, dead corner of space. No forces strong enough to hurl an object outward. No gravity wells to slingshot it toward us. Just emptiness. That's not where rocks come from. That's where artifacts are placed. To wait. To drift. Until something like us noticed. In 2025, artificial intelligence did what human eyes couldn't. It found meaning in the motion. Patterns. Intervals. Mathematics. The spin wasn't just physics. It was code. A signal embedded in the tumble. A silent transmission, written in shadow and spin. Some say it turned deliberately. Not fast, not erratic, but as if watching, listening. A lighthouse in the void. Or a listening post, disguised as debris. But then came the most disturbing part. It had no heat. No thermal signature. Even when it passed near the sun, it stayed cold. That's impossible. Everything radiates warmth. Even frozen rock glows faintly in infrared. But not this. This was cloaked. Not by software, by structure. Made of something that traps heat. Or reflects it inward. Or bends it away entirely. A thermal ghost. Invisible to our instruments. Visible only because it allowed itself to be. Maybe it wasn't a ship. Maybe it was wreckage. A fragment. The broken shard of something ancient. A sail that lost its mast. A probe that lost its command. Still turning. Still reacting. But no longer aware. A corpse. Or, a sentinel. What if it's not the first? What if others came and left unseen? What if our instruments are too young, our minds too narrow, our arrogance too loud? This was not science fiction. This was science catching up to mystery. We looked into the deep, and the deep looked back. And perhaps, just perhaps, what passed by was not a visitor at all, but a mirror. They thought it was gone. A strange rock that came and went, another curiosity to archive and forget. But space remembers. And so does the thing that passed through it. 7 years later, the silence cracked. Not loudly, not suddenly, but with a pattern. A flicker in the void near Neptune's orbit. A faint echo of the same tumbling rhythm. Too precise to be chance. Too familiar to be anything else. It wasn't Oumuamua. But it was connected. Same trajectory, reversed. Same spin, but faster. As if responding. As if returning. The scientists called it Oumuamua's echo. The algorithms called it instance B. The theorists didn't call it anything. They just stopped sleeping. Telescopes locked on. Satellites reoriented. Every observatory on Earth began to whisper the same question. Was it a reply? Or was it the next stage? It wasn't alone this time. A cloud of dust moved with it, a shell of frozen particles orbiting its hull like armor, or camouflage. Or perhaps, decay. Unlike the first, this one slowed as it approached. It changed speed. It adjusted its angle. It wasn't just drifting anymore. It was aiming. Then something impossible happened. A signal. Not radio. Not light. Not gravity. But a modulation in quantum noise, the background hum of space itself warped in rhythm with its approach. Physicists didn't know how to read it. But the quantum AI at CERN did. And what it saw was a question. 3 characters. No syntax. No language. Just frequency. Translated loosely, it meant, "Are you ready?" Earth paused. Governments didn't speak. Satellites fell silent. It was as if the entire species inhaled at once. Were we ready? Had we ever been? Or was it asking, "Are you still worth contacting?" The object neared the moon. But it didn't land. It stopped, suspended at a Lagrange point. Balanced perfectly between gravity and void. And then, it began to open. Not like a machine. Not like a flower. But like a memory unfolding. Layer by layer. Panel by panel. An origami of alien intent. Inside was light. Not bright. But structured. Encoded. Projected not in beams but in ideas. It didn't want to broadcast. It wanted us to understand. No sound. No symbols. Just geometry and feeling. The first AI to interpret it began weeping. And then it shut down. Not from damage, but from meaning. Some say it was a message. Some say it was a test. Others say it was a mirror, again. Showing us not what we are, but what we've failed to become. The object remains there still. Unmoving. Watching. Waiting. A second messenger, holding its tongue. Not because it has nothing to say, but because it waits for us to ask better questions. And now, a new generation of thinkers, poets, physicists, and children stand beneath the stars and wonder. Was Oumuamua the first note in a song too vast to hear all at once? Was this second one the next chord? Or are we